I am back after a while. I finished my exams and the KC Cup also finished. I didn't play the KC Cup, I rarely do, but I play the game even though the game is different than the KC Cup. And speaking with a lot of players that actually played the KC Cup, I actually decided to make my Banlist prediction slash wish list because there are gonna be some wish lists elements in there obviously. But anyway, let's get into it. So let's start with the skills. You can already see what I've written. The first skill that I think is the biggest offender is the Galaxy skill. It's a deck that's completely run by the skill, and I don't like that. It's also almost a year old at this point, and it's always sees play in the KC Cup. I think it has grown up. I think it has grown up a lot, and I don't like decks like Galaxy being viable just due to a skill. So I think that it will get nerfed, and it should get nerfed. As about the nerf, most people say do one of the things, not both of the things the skill does per duel, which I'm okay with. What I think is the most possible thing they're gonna do is to shuffle back a card when you get the Photon Lord, so you have less card advantage, you lose some tempo, like on the Gaia skill. That's you lose tempo by putting back a card for Photon Lord, you discard another card from your hand for the second effect. You see where this is getting. The next skill is the DDD one. DDD wasn't so popular in the KC Cup. I still think that the skill is a bit crazy, and a life point requirement, in my opinion, should be what the skill is, 1,000 life points, 2,000 life points, something like that, because it makes the most sense. The skill is very powerful. It basically keeps the deck alive, and I like DDD, but the skill is wild. And the final skill, which many people have talked about, is the Code Talker skill. Many people think that the skill is okay and that Code Talkers are okay. I like Code Talkers as a deck. I think Code Talkers are skill expressive. They allow for a lot of experimentation. Mekk-Knight Talkers, Pure Talkers, Salamangreat Code Talkers, which was a very good deck in this KC Cup, apparently. And yeah, the only thing that you can argue that it's unfair they do is the trap. Well, I mostly play Mekk-Knight and Infernoids, so I don't really care about the skill. I just banish the trap, but that's not an objective point of view. The skill is very powerful. It's a bit like of the Phantom Knight skill, but you just get to set a card that you just get to set it for free, and it's very strong going first and very decent going second as well. But many people think that many people are saying that, oh, if you could not activate it the turn you set it, it would be way worse going second. And I am like, if you summon Decode going second, you're already winning, because people will not let Decode stick on the field just so you cannot activate the skill. So what I would like for them to do is to shuffle a card back. Simple. Lose some tempo, lose some advantage. That's what I would like, because the card generates you. It has a straight +1. It's a tag out effect and the +1 in the graveyard. I think that's very good. You're just getting a +2 for free. I mean, your opponent can interrupt the +2, but still. About the decks now, let's move on to the decks. For banned cards, I don't think they're gonna ban anything, unfortunately. I really would like these two cards, these two artworks you can see, I would like them to be gone. Dweller, not so because of the recent spurge of Water Xyz, Water Mermail actually, but more so that it's a card that the idea behind Dweller doesn't, in my opinion, feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! The same thing with Secrets. Secrets is way more obnoxious at the moment, but I just feel like these two cards are problem cards. Dweller was way more problematic in the previous format, but that's just because a tier 0 format tier 0.5 in the KC Cup because that's the KC Cup. Like Salmon was by far the best deck, but you could just go play Noids and go first with Feast. Mech Knights were also decent. So yeah, I don't think you're just gonna ban anything. Moving on then to the limit ones, which we're gonna have quite a lot. The first thing, Infernity Launcher. Konami doesn't like when stupid decks are just making like crazy boards going first and they are ass going second, and Infernity is the biggest offender of this. The deck can just go first, make a stupid board, handle you for 2, and that's it. So if you hit Launcher to 1, you basically don't allow them to play Trishula, and every other variant just gets worse because they cannot like get multiple launchers, they get multiple bodies. And the problem is that the deck can't beat 1 disruption going second. That's the funniest shit. They can't beat a disruption going second. They cannot beat 2, but they can beat 1. So yeah, limiting Infernity Launcher to 1 would just ensure that this deck would not be a thing, and that's what we want. We don't want decks like this. Even if it's not good, I don't think the deck is good. It's just stupid to play against in case you lose the flip and your opponent opens combo. Moving on to actual decks now. If you asked me to do one thing, it would be to kill Infernoid. I think Infernoid is what Infernity is. It's just better at going second, way more consistent also. And it basically needs less setup. Yeah. So every player who played KC Cup will tell you that you're just gonna go second against Infernoid sometime, and if you're playing a graveyard deck, you're just gonna die. Even if you play Mech Knights, you basically don't have many opportunities to win if your opponent just normals Decatron and sets Feast with fodder and passes. So yeah, just limit these 2 cards to 1, so you have only 1 out of them. Allow them to have Decatron, like normal Decatron and Deviati, okay, that's like a Photon Lore with 500 attack, but special 3 from deck and having 6 copies of that going first is crazy. Even going second is really good, honestly. I just think Infernoid shouldn't be a thing. It's Infernity, but actually good. Let's move on to other hits now. This limiting to 3. The first limit I expect, and what most people expect, is Purple Nightfall or Memory. So you're just gonna cut Mech Knights from limited 3 cards. They are basically on a huge advantageous position because they can play these cards. Like they get advantage way more than other decks do, because the limit 3 cards are strong at helping you survive, and Mech Knights sometimes need that turn and then they just spam the board and they just overwhelm you with advantage. They also don't automatically lose to all of the limit 3 cards. For example, like other decks lose way more harder to Ice Dragon's Prison. The good thing is that all the limit 3 cards are decent against them, but they're not game enders. For example, Ice Dragon's Prison against Salamangreat is insane. So yeah, I think they're just gonna do this. I am not a fan of this. I think Secrets should just get banned and keep the Mech Knight cards available. I think Mech Knights going second are very cool. I think we need more decks like these that you don't really care about the coin flip that much. So yeah. The next limit 3 is Needle Sealing. I legitimately think that Needle Sealing will get hit to 3. There are just too many decks at the moment, and more are coming, Crusadia, that have synergy with this. So yeah, Salamangreat wasn't that popular. Salamangreat Talker was very good, but still, it has nerfs like in every limited spot. You have limited 2 Debug, limited 1 Gazelle and Roar, limited 3 Circle. So you cannot limit another card on their engine. Even like the pure deck wasn't that good in the KC Cup environment. And some Salamangreat Talkers lists didn't even play Needle Sealing, but Gookies did. And the card is very good. It's very good in multiple decks. And in multiple of these decks. And I think that you're just cutting Salamangreat's best deck for the meta, and also you're cutting a very strong deck Gookie can play, a strong deck Talker Salad can play also against the meta, because at this point many people think that you cannot effectively play around Needle Ceiling. It's basically at the moment treacherous but better for some decks. Next on the Limit 3 agenda we have what I think they'll do is like Goki Suprex and Goki Headbutt. They're just gonna tell you, oh, you're gonna play some of this, some of that. That's a Konami nerf. I am not the biggest fan of these nerfs. I think they should just limit finishing move to 1 and rematch to 1, as many people have said already. But I feel like they're gonna do something like that, just because they like doing weird 2 limit 3s in decks. Also, this stops Gookie from playing limited 3 cards, but it doesn't stop them from playing their best tech card, which is Expected Die. So I guess they are fine. They're just gonna play Book instead of Ice Dragon's Prison or Crackdown or Compo, just as like Salamangreats do. About Water now. Water was very good in this KC. But why was it good? It was good because you needed a lot of games in this KC Cup to like top effectively, to be sure to top, because there weren't many streaking opportunities, so you had to spam games, and Water is exactly the deck that allows you to do that. Also, turn on Dweller is very good, and the turn 1 with Croc Dweller is very good if decks don't really account for it. I mean, it loses to a Dark Hole, yes. It loses to a lot of stuff. It loses to Needle Ceiling, but not all decks play that stuff. It's KC Cup environment. You need to think that, and you can just like go first and win, and go second and just draw a 5-card combo, be like Cyber Dragons and win. That's the nature of the deck. It's not good in what I would like to call less fast-paced events like Team Wars and all of that, because decks like these rarely perform in such events. It's not a format for them, whereas in KC Cup, where you just need to have a 60% win rate most of the time, or you just need to have a 58% with a lot of games, you're basically okay by playing a deck that just does this over and over again, just playing so many games. However, this is where I think they will not touch it. I said that I would like to allergic it banned, but that's not because of this deck. I think they rarely touch decks that are good in the KC, but they see they haven't been as popular before. Also, it's extremely expensive, and I don't think they really are interested in touching one of the most expensive decks we have right now. Moving on to the Unlimits. This is not a prediction, this is what I think can happen. I figured I could talk about this. So, recently we eliminated a lot of stuff, which was really good. All of them did nothing, which shows that we are past the point where Invoked Cosaitus is the frightening card that decks cannot out. Only bad decks cannot out, but anyway. So yeah, let's move on. I didn't include Cosaitus in there. I think it can come back, but it's clear they will not bring it back after a long while, because there are people who will see Cosaitus being part of the game and will just quit. About the Unlimits now. Let's start for Shiranui Solitaire. Shiranui can get limit 2s. I don't think it's okay. All the good staples are at the limited 3 now. You're just giving them Gold Sack. Okay, what are they gonna do? It's not like they banish Shiranui Tragedy and search Squire. They're just banishing Squire to draw 1, discard 1, banish something to pop a face-up card, which at the point is just like playing Smashing Ground or MST. I mean, I guess the versatility is good, but I don't think it's that good. Just give them limiters. I don't think it's gonna fix Shiranui's issues at this point. Next one is Ritual Beast Tamer Elder. Specifically Elder, keep Wind at 3, because Wind at 3 means that they're not gonna play Ice Dragon's Prison, they're not gonna play Crackdown, they're not gonna play Compulse. they're not gonna play cards that enhance the trap variant. I don't think the trap variant is the superior variant. I just think that people don't want to play against it. While the combo Ritual Beast isn't, I don't think is really an issue right now. Just give Ritual Beast players some love. I don't think it's that oppressive now to end on double Winda plus a non-destructible Pedal Fin. It's really okay. Mingirsu just destroys it. Like, the next Unlimits and the final ones I have are Magical Contractor. Like, it will not be played in DDDs. They have way better ways to search their cards. And the same thing with Thunder Dragons. Every spell you play in Thunder Dragons is broken. You are not going to search Levy and give your opponent charge of the Light Brigade because you're just not gonna have the fodder for Levy. Like, also you're just gonna draw this with no other spell in hand, and yeah, it's awful. Like, it's very funny that you're just limiting 3 every random card that may have 1% chance to synergize with Thunder Dragons because they don't want Thunder Dragons to be a deck. It's like crazy to me. And the final 2 cards are Bamboo Scrap and Revive Gift. We have received the Nightmare monsters right now, which just need 2 monsters with different names. So you're just giving your opponent Link material. I mean, I just think that the moment we get Link Spider, these cards will completely be free because at this point it's just like, oh sure, just take material. It's not like the give and take cheese where you give your opponent Raz. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for my prediction, everybody. Have a nice day.